Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back. This is Mike and Juju's Movie Corner on Mike and Juju's Smoke Room, guys, where we like to take a trip down memory lane and talk about those movies that shaped our childhood. I'm your boy and your host, Mike.
And I'm Juju. Today we're diving into the wacky, wild, and totally 80s world of weird science.
Hey, that's right, Juju. This 1985 sci-fi comedy was directed by none other than John Hughes, the genius behind The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a lot of other classics, guys. It's a classic that still makes us laugh and wonder what kind of trouble we could get into with a computer and a little bit of imagination.
Absolutely, Mike. It's got everything you want in an 80s teen flick. Geeks, a beautiful woman out of a computer, and a wild ride that teaches some surprising life lessons. But before we jump in, let's set the scene. The film stars a young and nerdy duo played by Anthony Michael Hall and Elon Mitchell Smith.
Hey, that's right, Juju. Hall is our lovable protagonist, Gary Wallace, and Mitchell plays the brainy but socially awkward Wyatt Donovan. Together, they decide to use their computer skills to create the perfect woman. Enter the lovely and enigmatic Lisa, played by the iconic Kelly LeBrock.
Ooh. Hey, she's not just a pretty face, Mike. Lisa's a full-fledged supernatural being with the power to grant their every wish. It's like a teenage boy's dream come true. But as we all know, be careful what you wish for.
You bet, Juju. So let's talk about the plot. Weird Science is all about these two friends who are tired of being bullied and ignored by the other kids. So they decide to use a home computer to create their dream woman. A little bit of lightning, a dash of teenage angst, and a whole lot of computer code. They succeed.
The film is a hilarious take on the classic tale of Pygmalion and Frankenstein. It combines teenage wish fulfillment with a heartwarming coming-of-age story, all wrapped up in a neon bow of 80s cheese.
Hey, it's interesting to think about the movie's relevance today, Juju. Back in 1985, the idea of creating a human with a computer, pure fantasy. But now with AI and advancing technology, it's not as far-fetched as it once seemed.
That's true, Mike. The movie was ahead of its time in exploring the implications of creating life from technology. It's a bit of a cautionary tale, really, but let's not get too serious just yet. The fashion of this film is something else.
It really is. The 80s were a magical time for fashion. Weren't they? I'd say so. The neon colors, the hair, the shoulder pads. It's like they took a time machine to a garage sale and said, we'll take all of this.
Yes. The fashion is definitely a character of its own and weird side. But let's get into the heart of the film. The relationship between Lisa and the two guys is what makes the movie so endearing.
It definitely is. At first, it's all about the guys using Lisa to get what they want. But she quickly turns the tables and teaches them important lessons about respect, love, and who they really are. It's a journey of self-discovery for everyone involved.
And it's not just about the boys learning either. Lisa involves too. She starts off as a literal fantasy, but by the end she's become a complex character with her own desires and motivations. It's a nod to the idea that no one is just what they seem on the surface.
Hey, speaking of that, let's talk about special effects, Juju. For the time, it was pretty groundbreaking, but watching it now, it's kind of like stepping into a time capsule of the 80s CGI. It's really cheesy, but it does add to the charm.
It does add. It's like watching a making of a video from a movie from the future that got lost in a time warp. The effects are so simple, but they work within the context of the film's lighthearted tone. It's part of what makes it so endearing.
And you cannot forget the soundtrack. It's full of 80s hits that still get stuck in your head to this day.
Oh, absolutely. Let's not forget the iconic scene with the giant missile in the house. That's something you don't see every day.
Definitely not.
It's a visual representation of their wildest dreams coming in life.
It's definitely a standout moment. But the film isn't just fun and games. It also deals with real issues like peer pressure, family dynamics, and that ever complex struggle to fit in.
The movie has a surprising amount of depth. It's a great example of John Hughes could blend comedy with a real teenage issues in a way that was both entertaining and relatable.
Definitely. So let's get into the nitty gritty though. What are some of your favorite moments from the film, Juju?
Well, Mike, I have to say the scene where Lisa first appears in a classic, the way she emerges from a computer all sparkly and perfect is just so 80s, and the transformation scenes are always a blast.
Hey, definitely. The transformation scenes are hilarious. And the bikers scene, where the bikers sneak into the party, great characters, a little over the top, perfect blend.
Yes, and the scene where they're trying to impress the popular kids with their newfound coolness is a cringe-worthy, but it's the best way possible. It's like watching a train wreck you can't look away from.
Hey, let's talk about the climax. When the guys have to stand up for the girls and really figure out who they are and not be pushed around like they always do. Perfect.
It's a wild ride, for sure. But my favorite moment would be the morning after the party. The house is destroyed, and the guys are just sitting there looking at each other, realizing that maybe popularity isn't everything.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chuchu. This movie does do a good job of showing that the grass is always greener on the other side. Sometimes what you have is pretty great, and you just need to appreciate it.
And it's not just about getting a girl or being cool. It's about being true to yourself and learning to be happy who you really are.
Hey, that's the ultimate message right there. So, what do you think the legacy of Weird Science is today?
Well, Mike, I think it's a movie that still resonates with a lot of people. It's a fun, nostalgic look back at the 80s, but it also has some universal truths that still hold up. Plus, it's a great reminder that being yourself is the best way to be cool.
I agree 100. It's a classic that still makes us laugh and think. And it's definitely a movie that deserves a spot in everyone's childhood memories.
So, what's your final take on Weird Science?
Hey man, I'd give it 4 out of 5 film reels. It's a quirky, entertaining film that's full of 80s charm. It might not be the deepest film in the world, but hey, it's a great cast and a message that sticks with you. And not to forget, Robert Downey Jr. plays the bully kid.
Oh, yes. I say the same, Mike. 4 out of 5 for me, too. It's a must-see for fans of 80s movies, John Hughes, or anyone who wants a good laugh and a little bit of nostalgia.
Alright guys, that's today's episode of Mike and Juju's Movie Corner. Thank you all for joining us as we talked about Weird Science. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell really hard for us so you do not miss out on our next trip down memory lane.
And be sure to leave us a comment and let us know what movies from your childhood you'd like us to cover next.
Definitely.
We're always looking for suggestions.
Hey, until next time guys, keep it real and
don't forget to be your own kind of weird. It's what makes you wonderful.
100. Alright guys, we love you all.